I guess we are live. So thank you very much, those who are already here. My name is Anshuman Tiwari, your host today. I have a fantastic session today for you, and I know that this is a little, not our regular time. So we will. This is our we do these sessions in the morning, Saturday mornings, but for a special guest, we made a special exception and doing this show in the evening. So, first of all, those who are on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, if you can let me know if you are live and give me a thumbs up or a shout out of where you are from and, say hi or anything, just to make sure that this is working. Always good to check that. Okay, while you do that, and I look forward to that. The show today is my 45th show. Most of them were live, like this one. Only initially I did a little bit of recorded shows, like many of you know. But this is my 45th show. So thank you very much for your love and affection and support. As you know, most of you know, but those who are new know that I try and bring leading consultants, authors, coaches, quality professionals, and more. And my current focus is to bring to you people who can help all of us in our mid-career, game. So what's a mid-career and why mid-career? Right. My view is that I've been sharing actively over LinkedIn for about 2 3 years, and particularly more in the last 1 year. And as part of the creator program, then a top voice in 2022, early 2022, and then more recently the creator accelerator program. I noticed that there was a lot of guidance available to junior or freshers and entry level, or you can say early career people. And of course, there was a lot of guidance available for the leadership category, which is senior people. But there wasn't much help available to mid-career people. And I associate with that a lot more because I have had a very long mid-career, probably still in mid-career. And a lot of my team members over the years, I've been coaching them, and that coaching experience expanded to pro bono coaching and helping others who reached out to help and so on. So I realized that's a space that needs some concentrated effort to share whatever we know to help. Right? So that's the reason why I'm more trying to bring this kind of content for mid-career professionals. So what is the definition of mid-career professional? Uh, Technically, anybody between 5 to 15 years is a mid-career professional, but the upper ceiling is quite flexible. It can go up to 20, 25 years or more as well. As long as you are not in the very senior positions in your organization, you can be considered mid-career. So that's my way of looking at it. And the challenges for mid-career people are very different from those faced by early career or senior people. Hence this series. Right. So, like I shared with you, as a pro bono coach, pro bono as in a free for currently, I coach hundreds of people, or I have coached hundreds of people in mid-career roles, and but I thought that my knowledge was not adequate. So I need somebody much, much, much better than me who can come on the show and help. Right. Usually these people charge, but I found a good friend and a fantastic person who said that he recognizes this mission and will try and come for the show. And that's the reason we had to switch the timing for the show today. So I have for you Anand Vaishampayan, Anand for everybody, career coach Anand. He is of course a specialist, top end career coach for all, but primarily around mid career as well. And he's a job search specialist. He's highly sought after, uh, doesn't have time, especially on weekends. Has 50 million views on LinkedIn, Quora, and YouTube. Yes, 50 million, right? So his content reaches out to people, makes sense, people come back, and that's how you get to 50 million, right? So you don't get to people like me are at 2 million, 3 million kind of thing. So you can imagine, his reach. And of course, how I got to him was the Creator Accelerator program, and he was also part of the program. Therefore, it was a little easier for me to convince him to be here. In a minute, I'll bring him in, but his sessions on resumes, writing a resume, training, of course, content writing, content creation, and interview training and so on, of course, come at a price. But today's session is free. So take advantage, make notes, and of course, if you want to reach out to him later, do that. So I'll bring Anand in. Yes, Anand, hi. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Anshuman. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can. I'm sure people can. So,
Ex- Excellent. Thank you so much, Anshuman, and very good evening to you and to all the viewers. And Anshuman, thank you for the grand welcome. You made me feel like a celebrity, which
you
I'm
are,
not.
you are, you are.
But thank you so much for having me here. And I'm glad that I met you primarily through the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program out of the 200 fantastic creators. And I've seen your work, I've seen your live shows earlier as well, and it is a privilege to be here. So, thank you again.
Thank you very much. And those who were wondering whether we color matched for the show, this is a LinkedIn T-shirt, so we didn't really color match. This is the only color that they gave, so we both have the same color. But since we met as part of the LinkedIn program, we thought maybe let's use that. Okay. Quite a few people already joined and are showing some interest. Anandita from Jakarta has also joined. She's my next guest, by the way. So next week,
Wow. Okay.
but and she's a columnist in Jakarta's only English newspaper, Jakarta Post, and
Excellent.
extremely popular there. But we'll get to her later. Somebody is in the show and asking for a link. So Jayant, if you are in the show, you don't need any more link because I can see you are chatting, so you obviously can see. But if you still have some trouble, let me know and I will try and help. To others, Faizan, Jayant, Joseph, Tapan, Janak, Ajit, Santosh, Satish, Thomas, quite a few. Sorry, guys, I can't, take names of everybody, but because I want to get to Anand, right? So I want to get to Anand first and make sure that his fantastic experience can be of use to us. So, Anand, what we will do, the format of the show, since you have seen some of my shows, the format is fairly straightforward. I have some questions that I have prepared for you, surprise, surprise, but they will be there. But they are more from your expertise area, so should be straightforward. And then we will also take some questions from the audience, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's a simple format, straightforward. But at any point, if you feel that you want to help in any other way or something comes to your mind, feel free to share. Everybody is here to learn, and
Sure.
we'll get along with the show. Okay, so with everybody's permission, and I will get into the questions. And some people have asked, so let me remind again. And before we get, so Anandita, who's my next guest, is saying hi to you.
Hi.
And
Hello.
um, the some people are asking about recording and all. Maybe because you can't stay on for the full show, and you might be interested in the cricket match, but we have timed it such that this will be over before your India Pakistan cricket match. So don't worry, you can catch the match and this. But in case you have to leave, the recording stays on the same page. So if you joined from YouTube, it stays on the same page. If you joined on Twitter, same page. If you joined on LinkedIn, of course, it's on the same page, right? So same link, same page, you can again visit. So no problem with that. With those logistics out of the way, let's get into the questions. So Anand, maybe you've guessed this question, but in my introduction, I spoke about early career professionals, and uh, they want to reach out, they want to keep start their job hunt or look for another job and make a career switch. Um, the For the earlier careers, it is easy because they keep looking. For the
Hmm.
senior people, it is probably easier because they get hunted. So one keeps looking, one gets hunted. The middle career, like I said in my introduction, has more hurdles, right? So in your experience, having worked with maybe thousands, what are the hurdles that mid-career professionals face in their job hunt? Hmm.
Okay, okay. I think that's a very valid question because to start with, let us first, define what are we talking about in terms of experience level, right? So I think you already hinted in the introduction that we are talking about people who have, let's say, 5+ years of experience, but ranging from 5 till maybe 15, 20. Everybody is mid-career, depending on how or what kind of role they are looking for. And I think the biggest hurdle is that people don't have clarity in their mind. The biggest question that I get asked, or the most frequent question that I get asked, is uh, what kind of role should I opt for? Okay, or can I make transition from one role to another? So I think a lot of people are confused about what they were doing till now. So let's say, for example, if somebody is 7 to 8 years of experience, and they've spent 7, 8 years doing something. Let's take example of Java. For example, if somebody has a 7, 8 years of experience in Java, when they've spent 7, 8 years in that particular technology, and this is just an example, but after 7, 8 years, they really start to think, what next? Okay, is this something that I can do for the next 15, 20 years? Probably the answer is no. And I think the root cause or the hurdle is they're not very clear of what they want to do. Okay, what kind of role they really want to play for the next 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. So I think once people understand that, you know, reasoning, okay, that particular reason why they want to do a particular kind of job or what kind of job they are going to hunt for, I think that will make a lot of things clear in terms of the search process. So I think the first and the foremost is to ask yourself, what have you done till now? Is this really what you want to build on in future? Okay, if not, then yes, then it's a bigger or wider discussion, Anshuman. And I'm sure you have been through that. I have been through that. I mean, once we were like 5 years, 7 years of experience, and we had similar questions. What next? Isn't it? So I think that's the first problem that people.
Yeah, I think, Anand, I would agree. And if I may add a little bit to this, of late I have noticed, having spoken to several people, in my, either coaching or experience sharing sessions, what I do notice is that people, and this is no criticism, this is how the world is, right? So all of us included, people want to stay in, want to change a career, want to shift their career, but they don't want the risk and the reward associated with it. The reward they want, but the risk they don't want. So for example, I often say that if you want the same job, a slightly bigger job in another company or something, the risk is minimal, the reward is also minimal. You will probably get only a minimal hike, or something, right? So up to you. Do you want to make that switch for a minimal risk and minimal reward? Maybe not, maybe for some people, yes. If you want to do something else, expand your horizon, try something out, you will need to upskill yourself. The risk will be higher, the reward will also be higher. And
Yes.
there is a third category which we will come to, maybe later. But this is extremely important, like Anand said, that all of us are mid-career in some ways. It is up to us to understand the why are you in this job hunt. So yeah, thank you, Anand, for wonderful start. uh, the and you clearly segued us into how many of us struggle, and I'm speaking on behalf of all mid-career professionals in the call, and maybe who will watch it later. uh, I know personally, and I'm sure the people you meet, week after week and maybe months, after meeting, after the first coaching session, and promising to write the resume is also not ready. Right now,
Yes.
if it was happening to one or two people, I would say that the person is not interested, or the person is lazy, or maybe for some sporadic reason the person could not write. But I see a pattern. I hope you also see that pattern, that people don't start or are unable to start, right? We can't blame it on their inability to start. Obviously they have reached mid career, so they are good enough, they have decent education, they have worked hard, so they are mid career, so they are not novices who don't know anything. So they know they have the competence, but they are unable to start. Any suggestions or tips for people who are in this category, Anand?
Absolutely, and I'll give you some context. I think there are three things which people really procrastinate. One is writing their resume or LinkedIn profile. So, updating your LinkedIn profile or resume is something people procrastinate forever. The same happens when your parents ask you to get married. That particular profile that you want to build on the job matrimony website also is something which people procrastinate, that I'll do tomorrow. And the third is your appraisal, right? When you have to write your achievements, okay, or what you have done in the last year in your appraisal, self appraisal, that also people procrastinate till the last day. So I've seen a pattern because I have done all three myself. Okay, so I think one is we need to understand that resume is not something, or LinkedIn profile or Naukri profile or any other job profile is not something which will be done overnight. This is your work which you have done, for so many years and months. So it is very much needed to have a very live and updated document. And all it takes is just one time effort, one time real pull from within to get through that inertia and have that document created once and for all. Once you have done it, it is just about updating every few months. Okay, so I think even I have been through that, and as you know, I talk to a lot of people, I coach a lot of people, I charge them money. Even after giving me money, okay, and taking all the advice, a lot of time people don't even come back. So I keep following up that, okay, what have you done till now? Okay, have you really taken my advice into consideration and updated the document? Can we have one more review? So I think it is more of waiting till the 11th hour. Anshuman, and whoever is listening this, that particular part which is more of a habit, that okay, I will do it tomorrow, this is not important. I agree, sometimes it is not urgent, okay, but we should not make important things urgent and do it at the last hour, because something like LinkedIn, and both of us have been very active on the platform. I think this is not a platform where you create an account today, okay, and tomorrow you expect results. Okay, the same with other platforms as well. You can't expect results or network to be built overnight. There has to be a very conscious effort in all aspects. Okay, whether it is over social media, networking like LinkedIn, or whether it is making your resume, writing your appraisals, etc. It has to be a very continuous effort throughout the year. Once you create the base document, then keep updating over the years or months.
And Anand, I'm glad you brought this up because, see, really speaking, you and I can't help anybody if they can't help themselves, right? So the first step in every change, whether it is job hunt or any other kind of change, right, is to recognize that we want that change, we need that change, and it is only us who can make that change. Right? Nobody
Correct.
else can write your resume. Of course, there are resume writers who will advise and guide you to sharpen and improve your resume. But the first draft has to be written by you,
Absolutely.
right? So, Anand, and you are in this field, so you know this, right? Even the topmost resume writers ask for a draft. That okay, what is your current draft? So,
Correct.
and additionally, you brought up the topic of keeping your LinkedIn profile activated. This is so we both are of course LinkedIn premium members, but you don't have to be a premium member to update your profile.
Correct.
I get some people to tell me that I am not a premium member, so I can't use this service. Can't use this service. Fantastic, you can't use these services, but use what you can. Almost all the services of LinkedIn are free in terms of at least creation of your profile.
Correct.
So I would strongly recommend people who are on this call with the intention of improving their mid-career job hunt, please consider LinkedIn as a free website option for you. It is a good place to publicize your profile, past experiences, projects, achievements, and very neatly categorized. there are hundreds and thousands of job or recruiters who actually scan. I know personally, and I've been into senior roles for some time. When I am interviewing somebody, even if the profile did not come through LinkedIn, I go and check their LinkedIn profile.
Correct.
And of late, there is a bias, and I'm admitting this bias on live program, that if the LinkedIn profile is not updated or not appealing, I actually pass on that candidate. I move on. Right?
Yes.
The
Even
reason,
I.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've met a lot of people who do this, right? Now, Anand, so you of course review a lot of profiles, so your maybe frequency is higher. But the reason I do it, and maybe I'll ask your reason as well. The reason I do it is that in today's age and time, if you don't have the time to speak about your experience on LinkedIn in a coherent, articulate, professional manner, why should I hire you?
Correct.
Right? So when there are others, right? So one clear message in the last 5 minutes is that if you don't have your LinkedIn resume or profile updated, please do so. There are even options of downloading the same profile as a PDF, so you can actually download the same thing as a PDF and so on. But Anand, what is your reason? Why do you check people's LinkedIn profile and sometimes give them a pass if it is not populated?
Yeah, I'll answer that, but before that, I may
Sure.
forget. I want to share one more tip. One thing which I've noted is the people do not keep their profile in sync. Okay, what I mean is, if you have a profile on LinkedIn, if you have a profile on any other job portal, and your resume, okay, everything has to be in sync. The content cannot be different. For me, if I am a delivery manager, for example, in the IT industry, my profile should be in sync on all the platforms that I'm using for job search or for any other matter for that purpose, right? So it has to be in sync. Sometimes people update it in one place, they don't update it in another place, and they keep changing very frequently. Okay, so I think that is something which people should be very mindful of. And what I do is when somebody sends me a connection request, okay, or somebody wants to send me a message, two, three things that I look for. One is the headline, okay, even for the headline, the picture, okay, do they have a professional picture out there on their profile on LinkedIn? Second is the headline. What are they talking about themselves? Okay. And third is the about section and experience section, of course. But in about section, what have you written about your past experience or your skill set for that matter? Or what kind of work have you done? So I think these are the three, four core things. And if these areas on the LinkedIn profile or on your resume are not properly written, then there is a problem.
So fantastic. And now my question that when you pass on, so should I take this that these are the reasons, main reasons,
Yeah. Yes.
profile not being in sync? I'll repeat for everybody. Of course, not updated, which means no photograph, no headline. If you are not clear about what you are selling, whether you are selling a shampoo or a soap, who's going to buy, right?
Correct.
So remember the days when Anand and I will remember because of our age, but others, there was used to be this Eureka Forbes Aquaguard, or not Aquaguard, the Euroclean, vacuum cleaner door-to-door salespeople, right? One key attribute in all those salespeople, door-to-door salespeople, was that at every door they would pull up their tie, bring up a smile, and then knock, because they may have been refused at 10 other doors, but if they are sulking at this 11th door, it is a no before they ask the question. So job
Correct.
hunt is also similar. You may have been rejected for 7 other roles, but the eighth role might be yours. But if you are carrying the baggage of the 7 roles that you were rejected, the eighth is also a no, right? So the and this has happened to me once in my career, Anand, and I am happy to share this story with everyone. Is that uh, and this was you know quite a while ago. So, but I was mid-career, reasonably mid-career, and I had within 2 3 months I had 7 final round interviews, and each
Okay.
of those interviews felt like the job was written for me. That they have just taken my profile and written down the job description, and I was rejected in all of them, one by one. Right. Each time I would go to the interview thinking that I'm coming back with the offer letter. Yeah. And each of those seven, and they were all top companies. So, and by the time I had some name in the industry, it was not like I was a nobody, and I got
Mhm.
rejected in all of them. And the eighth one, which I was not expecting, but I went. I clearly remember I actually bought a new shirt, I bought a new shoe, and I psyched myself up that this is it. Whether it is eighth or 80th, I will give my best. And that eighth one clicked. Now, I'm not saying it clicked because of shoe or the shirt, but it clicked because I went with the smile. I went with the confidence that this is mine. Right? Even though it was eighth in 2 months, eight final rounds rejected or seven rejected, eighth one cleared. So that's another tip that we can share with the mid-career job hunt professionals is that don't give up. If five have not worked, maybe sixth one will work.
And this is so gold. I mean, this is pure gold, Anshuman. The example that you gave, because in today's world, everything is happening like from your home, right? So everything is happening online. So remember those days when we used to travel from one city to another to just give one interview,
Correct.
right? So somebody traveling from, let's say, Bangalore to Hyderabad to just give one interview, okay, and then sit in the bus or in the train for overnight journey, reach over there, wait, and then just get rejected and come back, and then you have to do the same cycle so many times. These days, it is like such a blessing to be at your home and do a video call. So I think times have changed, and it is very much required for people to realize how they can make most of it. Okay, if it is just about the basic things, I think they should definitely get that done as soon as possible. And if somebody is listening to this, please make sure that your profiles are updated just after this call. That's my sincere request to you.
Absolutely. And you know, Anand is of course a busy person, but I can definitely offer those who are looking at this. If you want me to have a look at your profile, send me a email or a message. I will over the next few days um, watch your or look at your profile and give you some inputs from my experience, right? So which may not be always the best option, but this is what you get for free, right? If you want to pay, then go to Anand, right? So moving on, and of course, I would strongly recommend everybody who's watching this show to follow Anand because he creates some wonderful content for jobs such professionals on YouTube, Quora, and LinkedIn, and across platforms. But these three are like really big platforms for him. So we tackled one question around what are the hurdles and then how to start and what tips can be shared for maybe starting a resume or anything like that. But the journey is much longer, right? So the resume itself is very different for a mid-career professional. For an early career, they can even write their school scores and other things. For a mid-career professional, suddenly writing school score is not acceptable. They can't write about leadership positions because they have not played those positions, so they are actually a little bit sandwiched or stuck. They can't write the top stuff, they can't write the early life stuff. So any tips for mid-career professionals on what they should definitely focus on writing, and maybe what kind, one page, two page, 5 pages? What is your experience around this, Anand?
Yes, so this is a very, very important point. A lot of time people are confused in terms of how many pages they need to have. Okay. And I'm sure you asked a very valid question. Sometimes people think it is mandatory to have one page or mandatory to have two pages. It is not the case. Okay. Unless the company has asked you that you should apply only in one or two pages. Number of pages is not that significant. What is significant is for you to understand that in order for me to project myself in the right way, how many pages of content do I really need? And I believe it will not be more than 2 or 3 pages. Three is maximum. Okay, because you have to be really crisp about what you write. Okay, so let me tell you a few basic things. When you apply as a fresher, you have to use certain things from your academics, right? You have to write details about what kind of engineering course or what kind of graduation or post graduation degree you have done, what kind of trainings or certifications have you done, what kind of internships have you done. So all of that becomes important because you don't have any experience. But once you gain experience, let's say 5 to 10 years of experience, then your focus should be on highlighting the right things and underplaying certain things which are not that important for the employer. So think of you selling yourself, okay, in a way that people want to buy your skill sets, or buy you as a professional and employ you. So I would suggest underplay your 10th, 12th graduation marks. There is no need to put what have you achieved in 10th and 12th and graduation in detail. It can be very crisp. 10th and 12th actually is not even needed. You can just say your highest degree is this, and then write things which are actually being asked in the job description. I mean, that's a very, very, very important point. Read the job description at least 3, 4 times to understand what is the eligibility criteria, what kind of relevant experience they are looking for. So, for example, if I have 15 years of experience and they are looking for somebody with 8 to 10 years of experience in a specific domain, then I should highlight that if I have that. So I would write my total experience is 15 years, but I will specify that I have 8 to 10 years of experience in specific technology or a specific domain, because that is what they're looking for. So I will tailor my resume with respect to what is being asked in the job description. And when I say that, the people sometimes they do a copy paste of JD. I mean, they just take the entire job description and put it into their resume, which is absolutely wrong. What I'm trying to tell you is look at what is common between your work experience and the job description and highlight what they're looking for and undersell what they don't need. So if I'm good at something, but they're not looking for it, then there is no point in highlighting that as the first line. I would rather highlight something which they're looking for. Okay, and this is something which needs to be tailored. This 5% of the content needs to be tailored for every job that you apply. You can't just hit that apply button without even looking at the JD and thinking, that this will work. There's nothing called as a generic resume. And if you go to Google's website, okay, Google's website, go through certain steps that they have given. They have very clearly written that you can apply for more than one role, and for each role you need to send a custom resume. So Anshuman, that's the fundamental, that's the basic thing everybody needs to do.
That's an awesome tip, and this comes Anand from you having coached thousands of people in this space, and I also find that when I interview people or when I'm helping people prepare, and the typical question I get is that, but this is me, I put in a lot of hard work in this resume, so this is me, and I want to say it loud and clear and a little bluntly and rudely that nobody really cares who you are. Right? So they only care for the fitment. They have
Hmm.
a job to offer. You are fitting that role, and you will get that role. And maybe if five people fit that role, then it is down to luck or some other factor, right? So don't sit on this high horse that you have created. And I see a lot of people sitting on this high horse that I've created this profile. Now it is fantastic. I've done everything. They should just come with the offer letter. The world doesn't work this way, and week after week, month after month, you will only find yourself frustrated and dejected because the role that you are looking for does not come to you, right? Or if you are in the job search market, you keep applying and you don't get anything because your profile is not matching. Like Anand said, if it does not fit in the first stage itself, how are you going to get to the second stage? Right. So the first stage itself is a challenge, and customizing and highlighting specific, of course, something that you have not done, you should not and never claim. But from what you have done, if there are items that you can highlight to be a better fit for that role, you should. You should absolutely. And highlight doesn't mean that put bold and underline and everything. Every second sentence is bold and underlined. Please customize the key points in the resume. And
Yeah.
like Anand said, one page, two page is your choice. Some people need more words to convey the same thing. and it is perfectly okay because it matches their personality. I have sometimes seen people who give a 5 minute answer where 1 minute was required, but the resume is half a page. So I am actually more worried that there is no sync between their personality and the resume, and probably somebody else wrote it. So I'm more worried about that candidate rather than a candidate who actually maybe speaks a little bit more than normal, and resume is also reflective of that. That's a better candidate than anybody else. So
Actually, Anshuman, if you allow me, there's one more
you know,
important point. I think what you need to think, everybody who is applying needs to think if they are the employer, okay, or if they are the recruiter or hiring manager, how will they see this resume? Okay, because if I am a hiring manager, I am actually looking for the right candidate, like you said. Okay, I am looking for that right fitment. As soon as that resume comes in front of me, I am actually sure that, oh, this is the guy. So you need to keep that in mind that okay, if this resume was given to me as an employer, will I even select this? Okay, so that is begin with that end in mind.
no, very well said. I think begin with the end in mind. Stephen Covey's first habit as well. So that also applies here. So Anand, we had blogged 45 minutes, and I think a lot of tips we have been able to share from, of course, your vast experience and my limited one. Hopefully that will be useful to people. There are some questions that have started coming in, so let's take some. One question is a little bit specific from Swaran Ram about he's 59 and wants to shift country. So Swaran, that question is a little less relevant for this program because this is a little bit mid-career function. So maybe if you reach out to Anand or myself separately, we can help you. Something coming from Varsha, who's part of the LinkedIn program as well. So thank you. I call it master file of your career progress. Fantastic. Yes. The questions, one interesting one coming from Irfan. He's based out of Australia, but as a question, a lot of people state objective in their resume. Is it relevant? Very common one. Anand, anything?
Absolutely, my favorite question. So I'm, whenever I see an objective, Irfan, right? So I
Yeah.
think 9 out of 10 times I just see plain English. Okay,
Hmm.
when I say English, what I mean is what I see is I want to align my goals with some organization's goal and give my best in terms of skills so that both me and the organization will succeed. I mean something of that sort. This is actually nothing. Okay? This is just English. Rather, I would put one headline saying I have 15 years of experience in IT, 8 to 10 years of experience in this technology. My skill sets are project management, Java, Oracle, whatever. Okay, and anything else which may be relevant to them. So that is the headline you want to put. Objective with just plain English is a strict no-no from my side. Irfan.
Yeah. And Irfan, if I may add to Anand's wisdom, is that you are actually wasting real estate.
Yeah.
We just tackled a question about whether one page or two page. About 10% of that goes into objective, which is meaningless for anybody. If you're that passionate about your objective, keep it to yourself. You will change the world someday. um, Talking about changing the world is not going to change the world. And I know Irfan is probably asking in this on behalf of others. He's himself a fairly senior accomplished professional. So thank you, Irfan, for your question. um, Interesting one from Pravas Dhar. Nowadays, each and every employer wants multiple skills. Can be true, Pravas, but they also want specific skills. So don't just kill yourself thinking that people want multiple skills. If you are good, if you're really really good at something, you have to find that person, that company that wants that skill, right? So don't get into this vicious circle that people want multiple skills and I don't have multiple skills. You actually have multiple skills and one primary skill. Please find the company which is on that. But Anand, you are an expert in this, so anything that you want to add?
I think you just said it. So it is about knowing what is primary and what is secondary. So you will have a skill set. In your skill set, you will have, let's say, two skills or three skills maximum, which you think are your strengths. Okay, these are your skills on which you build your career, and then you will know more things which are not primary. Okay, so this is how you need to think about yourself, and this is how actually you need to also think about the job description. So the job description will have n number of things, but they will mention what is must have versus what is desired. Okay, so we need to be very clear of what is a must have for this particular job, and is that my primary skill. If there is a match out there, then just go for it.
Fantastic. I think that match part, the fitment part is extremely important. And I gave the door-to-door salesman example earlier, right? So you don't know which one will match, right? So you have to be ready at your best for everything. One interesting question from Joseph Vincent,
Mhm.
and which is about, I'll summarize. He's basically saying that he has good skills in his current setup, but it is not translating into success at interview stage, which probably begs the question, Anand, is that how do people, mid-career people, once they have got through the stage one, that shortlisted resume short, how should they prepare for interviews? And that will answer Joseph's question as well. So I'm kind of bundling two, three questions from other people as well for you. What do you think? I mean, just to repeat, what can people keep in mind for interviews?
Okay, so I would suggest two, three things which is common across industries, common across roles, and especially for mid-career people. Um, why people interview you? Okay, when they have seen your resume, they have seen an overview of what kind of a profile you have, what kind of experience you have, what kind of skills you have. So I've already read your resume, so I already know experience, skill, and a little bit of work experience that you have and kind of roles you have played. Interview is actually a process to validate that. Okay, so interview is nothing but validating, deep diving, double clicking that whatever you have written on your resume and whatever I need, is that matching. Okay, so in an interview, when you go, this is my general advice, please be prepared to share stories. Okay, stories in the sense real events or incidents which have happened in the past with regard to the work you have done. Okay, and which should be matching with what they're looking for. So that will only happen when you have read the job description. So every time I go into an interview or I expect from a candidate is that they will be prepared to give me examples of events or incidents which have happened in the past. It may be a failure, it may be a success, and how they actually dealt with it. Okay, so that is extremely important. If you have done some preparation around that, it may be a technical issue, it can be a business problem, but if you are ready with that, okay, you can't think about examples on the fly. So if I am an interviewer and if I ask you double click questions about certain experience, tell me, what kind of challenges you have faced in this particular release or this particular, code, you may not be able to think of that on the fly. So be prepared with real life incidents or examples which you have handled. Both success and failure are important. And if you are able to articulate that well in the interview process, that's going to kill it. Okay. And in order for you to do that, my second strong suggestion is to please do some mock interviews. Okay, with your friend, with your some of your seniors, colleagues who can actually help you rehearse that. Because if you rehearse that well, it will actually click in the real interview.
No, I think this rehearsal part completely clicks with me, and I when I speak to people or during my coaching sessions, I also help them go through that. Let's do a mock. I will ask you a question, and you let me know how you will tackle. Don't think that if this is simple to similar to running or any other sport. If you can't do something in practice, you can't do it in the event. So forget about it, right? So there are people who say that, oh, I run 10 kilometers in 70 minutes, but on the event day I will manage 60 minutes. It does not happen. The reverse happens. If you are not if you are able to run 10 kilometers in 60 minutes, it is possible in the event your performance will go down and you might do it in 65 minutes. 5% here and there, maybe you can gain or fail, but you don't dramatically change your performance in the event. So consider it as a sporting event or something, that if you can't do it in practice, you can't do it in the event, right? So as simple as that.
And and I will like to add one more thing, Anshu, and with your permission. So I will give you example of something else. So I was watching this show on India TV called Aapki Adalat, okay? And there were guests coming in, and in one of the shows, I think some movie star or somebody who came in for some 100th episode or some celebration, he told that this host Rajat Sharma has actually done hundreds of shows, but every single time he goes into that show before the shoot, he actually looks into every detail, okay, of preparation of how the show will be hosted. So it doesn't matter how many number of times he has done it already, and he is an expert into that. But he'll again do that rehearsal. He'll again make sure that every small thing is in place. So that tells you a lot. Virat Kohli, when he goes into net practice every single day, that is what gives the actual performance on the match day, right? So think of interview as an event. Is this like an exam? So you need to prepare. Unless you are prepared, unless you have done it multiple times, you will not be able to give your best. So that's the message that I would like to share with all of you.
Thanks. We are almost on time, but with your help, Anand, if we can extend a little bit. There are quite a few questions, but the good
Okay.
part is that questions are there on LinkedIn, so you can later on also go and try and respond to those questions. Or those who are asking questions and I am unable to include your question in the live show, my apologies. And but do reach out to Anand later on. He's a busy man, but he will try and take your question. One quite detailed question from Tapan. I'll read out. I've been in multiple industries ranging from manufacturing service. For me, there is a gap because he, of course, started his venture, fantastic, but couldn't sustain, have not been able to get opportunities. It seems one is not good. So he gets rejected at the salary stage, it seems. Any specific advice you can give?
Okay, if I get through 2 3 rounds. Okay, so I think for somebody who has experience in multiple industries, okay, like this particular example from Tapan, and now you're coming back and searching for a job. I think again the piece of advice that I would have for you is look for what is common between what you have done and what they're looking for. Okay, so that is one thing which will give you more interview calls, or your resume will get shortlisted more frequently. As far as the salary part is concerned, I think nowadays there are a lot of tools available online. Uh, LinkedIn is one of them. So if you go to linkedin.com/salary, okay, that is the portal that LinkedIn has for salary insights. Okay, and like LinkedIn, there are several web portals where you can find salary insights. And when I say salary insights, what is it? It is actually the data collected from people like us. So when you go to linkedin.com/salary, it will first ask you about your experience, your role, your location, and it will ask you your salary. And it is confidential. So once you submit that, it keeps a database. Okay, and you can later on use that. Okay, so I use it to find out for a specific role, for a specific location, and a skill set, what is the average salary or a median salary? So there is a high, low, and a median. So that gives you a very good idea of what to expect. Okay, and take it with a pinch of salt. Like nothing is perfect in this world, but it gives you a very good idea of what number you should quote. Okay, especially in cases like these where you're coming after a break, you don't want to quote something very high or low. So that's my quick suggestion.
Sure. Thanks, Anand. And Tapan, I hope you got your answer. Of course, your case is quite unique in the sense that specific. So, our answer or response is a little more generic. So, please take it that way. Um, okay, Neil has a question. My challenge is my profile changed in the last 5 years for some skills for almost 10, 12 months only with a certificate. Now I'm getting alignment for specific skill set for. Okay. Uh, I'll let Anand respond, but general, Neil, your issue is that while your profile has changed, or you have total maybe experience, longer experience, but your current profile, current skills alignment is only for a short period. So obviously, for if you match your skill set to that particular skill set, they will not consider your previous experience, because your current skill set is matching only to that particular. So that's a choice you made, Neil. And if you want to shift into an area which is a high growth area, and you acquired those skills, be ready to start at a lower rung so that you can make up in the next 2 3 years. We can't have the cake and eat it too, right? So you can't keep your 10-year unrelated experience and go to another unrelated new industry and still keep that advantage of the previous experience, unless of course you have additional experience of people management or other skills. Then of course there is something possible. But Anand, anything to help Neil?
I think you have said it already. The only thing is, I'll give you one example. So there are people who come from testing background, okay, and they want to move into business analysis. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so they may do a certification like in this particular case, or they may do a training from somewhere into BA, but they don't have any BA experience as such. Okay, they were into testing. So what I would like to say again, if you think of it from a testing perspective, also, if you are into functional testing, so you need to think of what domain I was on. So if you are in banking or insurance or manufacturing domain where you have functional knowledge, then it makes sense for you to use that as certain experience or understanding of functionality to get up into a business analyst role. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah.
that that kind of case to case basis, certain things are possible, but like what Anshuman said, you can't have the cake and
Eat it too.
yeah.
Okay, so Anand, I blogged 45 minutes with you, and we are above that time, so I will of course let you go. As discussed earlier, there are some questions which went unanswered. My apologies to those who asked, and we could not include it in the show. But hopefully, our tips and lessons that we shared, primarily Anand shared, and I added in some places, will be useful to you. Please, in summary, please understand that mid career is a challenge for everybody. You are neither in that early, careless, carefree stage where you can apply anywhere and go around, and maybe things will work, right? Though that's not the case for early career, but we will do that session some other day. That's a separate session. We wanted to focus on mid career only, and for senior career people, there is a completely different ball game. So um, the general tip, of course, keep yourself LinkedIn ready, have your profile ready, customize your profile or resume, mm, align it to the particular job requirement, because it's all a matter of fitment. And prepare, do mock interviews, and yeah, these were coming to mind. Anand, anything I missed? Any quickly summary kind of thing that, or one message that you want to share out of this whole last 45 minutes?
Yeah, one key takeaway, Anshuna, I would like to share is be very mindful of what you are writing on your resume. Okay, think a lot before what you write. And we have spoken at length, but I just want to make sure you get this part that you want to sell yourself for a specific job or role. So
Correct.
your resume has to be tailored around that. Okay, it is that is the core of the entire thing. Because basis that your resume will get shortlisted, basis that you will get interviewed. Okay, so around that, a lot of discussions happen, but people still don't get it. That is the core. Okay, and that's all I would like to wrap it up with from my side, Anshuman. And it was a pleasure being on this show. Absolutely, a very engaging discussion. A lot of very important questions asked, and I hope the audience will, viewers will definitely benefit from it. But thank you so much for having me here.
My pleasure, Anand, and it's always a pleasure speaking to you, particularly on a topic where, of course, we can help others as well. So that's always a delight. So yeah, so we'll wrap up the show, but quickly, two people have asked about recording. I think I did mention earlier in the show, but maybe you missed. Recordings are available on the same handle, same address that you used to land on this show. So if you use LinkedIn, the same link will have the recording. YouTube, same link. Twitter, same link. Right. So don't no need to search for another link. The recording will be available. You can watch later. In the same on the LinkedIn chat as well as YouTube chat, I have posted the playlist for the previous and this show, so you can watch previous shows also, right? And of course, if you do subscribe to the session, then to my YouTube profile and follow us, Anand and me, on LinkedIn, we'll be pleased. With that, Anindita, who's joined us from Jakarta, and I will let everybody know that Anand. So we've discussed mid-career job search, right? Once you have the job, the show is not over. You will have mid-career blues, right? So what are mid-career blues? What type of issues people face, and how do we tackle them? How do we address them? That will be in conversation with Anindita next Saturday, 3rd of September, and that will be at 11 a.m. India time. Please watch out for my on my profile. I will post the invite and other things. But and if you go on events which I am hosting, you can already register. So thank you, Anita, for joining this session, and of course, we look forward to speaking to you next week. And that will be again a fantastic session because it's a segue, right? So you look for a job, you search a job, you find it, then you realize that it is not over. The struggle is still real. That's this next session. With that, thank you, everyone. I'll let you go. Once again, thank you, Anand, for taking time out and helping our audience. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Pleasure. Thank you, Anshuman. Thank you, everyone. See you.
Bye bye.
Bye.